across specific business vectors over the years. Promising leaders and businesses have shared their experiences of creating, and not just creating, ladies and gentlemen, but also sustaining compelling experiences in their respective sectors. However, we at Economic Times Edge take pride in thoughtfully moving the spotlight to the hidden pillars of our Indian economy who have and who are making our nation very, very proud nationally as well as globally. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about the women. Well, there is no limit to what we as women can achieve, said Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the United States. The women play a pivotal role in the success of any society and culture. Without the upliftment of women, there is no society that can actually prosper. Well, from doing office jobs to taking responsibility of household work to doing so selflessly, women are the backbone of our society. Mic drop. Well, the world has witnessed the advent of women leaders such as Hillary Clinton, Indira Nooyi, Indira Gandhi, Oprah Winfrey, you name it and you have it. Mary Kom, Kalpana Chawla, Pabi Ben, Chavi Rajawat, Kiran Bedi, to just name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, today, apart from the felicitation and the unveiling of the Economic Times and Femina presence, the Promising Women Leaders of India 2022, the Coffee Table Book, the event will also witness entrepreneurs, change makers such as you, and the thought leaders coming really together for some fiery panel discussions, some talks, some heart-to-heart, fireside interviews, and of course, the success stories. What's the wait for? Let's now get rolling with our keynote address for the day that will focus on the new markets, new powers. Future generation sets the rules. Join me in warmly welcoming on the screen Miss Dipali Goenka, the Joint MD and CEO, Wellspun India. Let's give it up for her.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ET Femina, for inviting me to speak at this event. It's a great honor to share my vision with everyone at this forum, where I see a bunch of inspired minds ready to challenge status quo by setting new benchmarks. But as the old saying goes, had it been easy, everyone would have had it. And it's absolutely correct, because reaching great heights is always similar, yet unique story of valor, vision, and victory. The internet and the changing business landscape has been a boon for new entrants in every industry. Traditional ways of doing business aren't essential going forward. However, agility is the need of the hour to seize the opportunities that exist today. We are still at the beginning of this revolution as businesses, multinational or local, are still trying to get a grasp of the consumer behavior on the online front. Innovation is a strong tool. However, it should always be relevant to the consumer. These are dynamic times, and taking the right action along with calculated risks will be the key differentiator. Even as marketplaces and consumer behavior have taken a massive shift over the course of decades, the one thing that has remained exactly same for millenniums to create a successful business is identification of demand, whether it's a B2B or B2C company. An outward-looking approach is critical. Strategies formulated should begin and end, keeping consumers at the core. While technology is forever at our assistance, it's important to analyze an idea on multiple fronts so that a great idea meets great consumer demand. As a part of technological innovations at Wellspun, we launched the WellTrack 2.0 blockchain, which was designed to help drive transparency in the supply chain from farm to shelf. We are one of the first home textile manufacturers to use blockchain and AI-based traceability platform at such a large scale. All our innovations are built on the principle of consumer centricity, and the transparency WellTrack 2.0 offers builds trust with our customers. Even a premium textile brand, Spaces, launched in 2003, was created with the vision of offering thoughtful living to our customers, and today it offers distinct products like high-grow bed sheets that controls temperature, swift-dry towels, and much more. These innovative customer offerings have propelled Spaces to become one of the top 3 brands in the bed and bath category. The advanced textile vertical at Welspun has integrated non-woven technology to create unique fabrics that have a wide range of customer applications. We also have a laboratory to conduct advanced tests to create innovative fabrics. Click and lock tiles, which is a part of Welspun flooring, is also an example of customer relevant innovation. It's a key differentiator in the industry that has made flooring more convenient for the end consumer. With these instances, showcase a proven formula to create a brand. I'm sure that the future generation will come up with a new set of rules that will change the face of brand, building completely and enthrall its audience. Innovation with correct implementation has always delivered path-breaking results that are far better than our wildest expectations. Brand building is essential to building a meaningful relationship with consumers, but it also opens new doors to expansion for business. Multinational organizations surely take brand value into consideration, along with analyzing other aspects of business. Collaboration with international entities is a powerful tool to elevate business operations rapidly in various nations. It's mutually beneficial to all the organizations or individuals in collaboration, which ensures optimal utilization of all resources available. At Welspun, we recently unveiled a new creative space in New York. It's called the Creative Collab. And the idea is to give customers an experience of the entire product development journey. Such collaboration ideas increase customer reach and visuality of businesses. We also launched a new collaboration series with influential members of creative community. Under the theme of awareness, this collaboration addresses cultural representation. It features bedding, bath, much more from designer Peter Somm and design blogger Colette Shelton, who founded Coco Cozy. With the opportunities present in the new age, it is beyond the realm of imagination what might be possible in the next few decades. The speed at which we receive technological updates opens the doors to new possibilities and innovation. Persistence is the key to create a successful venture because failure is an opportunity, and every failure makes individuals more mature when it comes to the next venture. It's the will to stand up and beat the odds that decides the course of our entrepreneurial journey. It is going to be tough since competition is fierce, but it's valor and the vision that take you to victory. Thank you so much, everyone, being a lovely audience. I would like to end my address by sharing a quick quote that perfectly engulfs my thoughts. Never let the fear of failure keep you from reaching your destiny.
All right, so those were some very great insights. And yes, everybody, I'm sure there are good vibes from wherever you're watching us. And on that note, we must move on to our next session, which is the panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen, that will accentuate and discuss about the global economic prospect and the social outlook, where we are now and what is really on the cards. Well, our accomplished key speakers allow me to warmly greet on the virtual stage. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Ms. Ashima Goyal, member RBI Monetary Policy Committee. Let's also welcome Ms. Vibha Padalkar, the MD and CEO from HDFC Life. We'll also be warmly welcoming Ms. Vishakha RM, the MD and CEO from India First Life Insurance. Well, the session innings will be moderated by Ms. Sonia Mahajan, who is the Director Financial Advisory, Deloitte, India. Sonia, if you're all set, handing it over to you.
Thank you for that. Let me quickly welcome all of you to this panel discussion. We have a high-powered panelist today for the discussion. I'm Sonia Mahajan, Director in the Financial Advisory Practice of Deloitte, and I will be the moderator for today's panel discussion. Without any further ado, let me hit into the topic for today. So we are going to talk about a topic which is very frequently discussed, across all, not just economists, but even by general people, even laymen. So I think, we are going to talk about, the slowdown that we as a nation, as the whole global, the slowdown and the recovery of the global growth. And we have got, high-powered panelists today to talk about this. Recently, in fact, in June 2022, the World Bank, we saw that there was the growth in the global, output was almost halved of about to 2.9% very recently. And this has really kind of, brought out tensions into all the economies, including India, which is one of the developing economies. This question is to Ashima ma'am, since she comes from the central bank. Ma'am, what is your outlook on India's growth story? And, what are the challenges that you face, as we kind of really go into the slowdown mode?
Yes, thank you. Sonia, this is a difficult time, especially for emerging markets, where not only we have to deal with shocks to food, petrol, to which India is especially vulnerable, but also capital flows, outflows. We've had to face surges all through the last decade and more, either in or out, too much in or too much out, because of the US tightening. US is very high inflation. But the strange thing is that India seems to be less impacted than feared. And I've been writing, my own belief is that we have a certain size and diversity, which creates inherent resilience. For example, oil shocks, yes, but in the 70s, we were devastated by, a much smaller rise in oil price shocks. So oil intensity has fallen. As a fraction of the economy, it accounts for less. Then we also have developed a refining industry. So exports go up when oil prices rise, we gain in remittances. This is an example of the sort of diversity. Then we've seen outflows, but surprisingly, stock markets, the outflows are larger than they were during the global financial crisis, but stock markets have not fallen as much. And India is one of the best performing stock markets worldwide. So one reason is that households are diversifying into financial assets. They're investing much more in mutual funds who invest in stock markets, directly in stock markets. So this is another example of the size and diversity which insulates us from shocks. Then agriculture, yes, food prices have risen. That is a hit for the common man. It's increased inflation, which is a worry for central banks worldwide. But agriculture does benefit from higher prices received. So for the central bank, I think what my own view is that in a country, in emerging markets especially, where we suffer from volatility, this COVID-19 period is one where governments throughout the world have borrowed more in order to spend, to rescue, to support people who are suffering, to spend more on medicine and other aid. So debt has gone up. And to come out of this smoothly, what we need is that the real interest rate must not be higher than the growth rate, because then the debt ratios fall. And in India, this has normally been the case because we have much higher growth rates than mature economies. But the problem for us has always been volatility, especially after the reforms, large fluctuations in exchange rates, interest rates, and so on. So I think that if to the extent central bank here, and we have been quite successful in limiting variations in the real interest rate compared to what they were in the last decade. So, and since reserves are high, Indian rupee has depreciated as the dollar has strengthened. But again, the depreciation is the least among emerging markets and even advanced economies. So we are smoothing shocks and helping the inherent resilience of the economy to take us out of this period.
Sure. Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
Thank you for that, ma'am. And just a follow-up question on what you were saying, although I understand that, India is kind of taking the shocks kind of, decently, strongly. But do you see any specific sectors which you feel will be significantly, comparatively more impacted as compared to the other sectors in India?
Well, there's a fear that if there is a global slowdown, India's exports could be affected. But, to continue the diversification story I was talking about earlier, it's the same thing here, because there is countries worldwide have realized that they should not depend on one country because of China, and they want to diversify. And India stands to gain from this. And the government has also gone in for this PIL scheme, which encourages industry to locate here and have large scale manufacturing, which can create jobs. And then the other big advantage for India is that COVID-19 has really enhanced digitization worldwide. Work from home has risen in a big way, and generally, so this benefits us. We really benefited from the outsourcing wave. So we have a lot of startups that are getting funding and that are doing interesting, innovative things. And this kind of export seems to be sustaining. So even though global growth should decrease these exports, all these features suggest that our exports will sustain despite some global slowdown. Then, of course, oil price shocks, because we import about 85% of our oil, and it's a major cost shock. So there's some countries, some commodities or industries that are more affected by this, including transport, communication. We know cars, they've been going through a tough time with supply chains, and then if petrol prices rise. But again, the diversity and the moderation of shocks, the government has room for counter-cyclical movement in excise taxation, since they really raised excise taxation when oil prices fell. So this can moderate oil shocks for us. And then the big export market for us, US is one, has very strong growth. So although they're trying to reduce overheating, our exports to them are rising. Middle East similarly gains from oil prices and our exports. So that way, there are shocks, specific industries face more of it. But again, this diversification story holds.
Sure, that was great. Maybe moving to the specific life industry sector, we have got Vibha ma'am and Vishakha ma'am from the life industry, life insurance industry. So Vibha ma'am, your question to you: what is your take on how do you think that life insurance industry has kind of grown over the last 2 years, specifically during the pandemic, and what is your outlook in the coming time?
I think in hindsight, we've done fairly well. Of course, as a percentage of GDP, it's two-pronged, wherein the base has shrunk and the numerator has increased. Base has GDP itself has shrunk versus GDP growth earlier. So that also optically has helped. But even on a standalone basis, growing anything on a CAGR basis over the past 3 years, between 15-18%, that kind of a level, I think the industry has shown commendable resilience as well as agility to be able to both connect with customers, service customers, connect with partners, and most importantly, to pay claims that were anything between 4x to 6x, the elevated claims due to COVID. And this is without a murmur. So we have done, I think, our part in terms of nation building during very, very critical juncture. And this is, again, without being too cute about it, to say, these clauses don't make it applicable to settle. We have just settled. We have settled within turnaround time. So as a sector, not only have we survived, but I think we have been able to support the government and the nation during times of crisis. Also, a lot of us perhaps had to allay people's fears in terms of, will I get my policy? Will I get my money? Akin to a run on the bank, perhaps, very early stages of the first variant. And the agility that I mentioned means that in every adversity, there's an opportunity. And that's how I think the sector looked at it. There were companies that were fairly well advanced on the digital journey, but others also played catch up by the time we had second and third waves that happened. So all in all, I think the agility as well as the transformation that the sector has gone in looking at health innovations as well as partnering with insurtechs and everything in between. I think even on the group business, for example, large amounts of insured population on the group business, and not the least was also on the PMJJBY and some of the more bottom of the pyramid focus, even very recently that we've been talking to the government on. So I think largely I would say is that it's fairly business as usual, despite this tectonic shift that we've seen thanks to the pandemic.
Yeah, correct. Maybe Vishakha ma'am, a question to you. We've been reading that insurance penetration in India has really grown during the pandemic as such. Does this mean that, insurance in the rural industry rural sector in India has kind of increased as compared to, what we had previously during pre-pandemic times? Is that what we understand?
So it's interesting, Sonia, and data is got to be looked at multiple levels, as I'm sure Ashima would agree. When you look at data at a very standalone level, you can take away a lot of meaning from it. So I would look at it slightly differently and say, okay, what has gone up in terms of insurance penetration, in terms of, sum insured premiums, policies, what's really taken up. While there are optimists who will turn around and say that we have seen a sea change in life insurance penetration, and it has become a pull product from a push product, and I would say cautiously optimistic, I'll say it has become at least, a nudge product from a push product. We don't need to really push it as much. Now we can do a little bit of a nudge and get sold. I would like to use this platform to really appreciate the government understanding of the need to reprice PMJJBY and actually reprice it. We've been, one of the first companies to have launched it, and we've been steadily working on it for the past 7 years. So and the PMJJBY portfolio has been, a loss-making portfolio, which we know. But now with the rate revision, which has been made, we hope to be able to turn it around into at exactly what I'm sure the government envisioned, which is no profit, no loss. While a lot of people have been giving credit to the pandemic, and I'm not taking away the role that the pandemic played in terms of increasing awareness of the need for life insurance and increasing awareness of the fact that life insurance is a product that you cannot buy when you need it. It has to be bought, before you need it so that you can use it when you need it.
True.
Very popular saying that you can't insure a building under fire. So very similarly, life insurance applies the same way to a human being, where I think that message got reinforced. I think the efforts of PMJJBY itself, which has been going on from 2015 onwards, combined with this emotional aspect of the pandemic, I think both are parameters that have played out. And then, of course, we've had aggregators who have been really pushing this product. And term policies as such have been something that have been spoken about since the privatization of life insurance. Prior to that, you never really heard about term insurance. So I think it's a combination of the fact that it's been about 20 years that we've been talking term insurance.
Yeah.
Had a government scheme which has been really sold by all public sector banks. We've had the pandemic, which has brought in the emotional quotient. So I think it's a combination of all of these factors which has definitely moved the needle on penetration, and it's definitely moved the needle in terms of the push product to a nudge product. So I think that would be my response to saying, have we seen an increase in the insurance penetration?
Sure.
I think how did the pandemic affect, I to add on to what Vibha said, the claims payment, I think it's been amazing. And I don't think anybody has given the life insurance industry the credit that it truly deserves in terms of the claims payout that have been made by the industry. You look at the listed companies and you look at public disclosures of the non-listed companies, and you will see that the claims payments have been one of the highest. And you haven't heard one shareholder say anything. You haven't heard complaints claims have not been paid. And insurance companies have really stood up and shown, why you need insurance.
True.
All the trust that people talk about of trust deficit, I think this past 2.5 years, the life insurance companies have demonstrated that there is trust surplus that definitely needs to be created as of now. And this, despite the fact that, we've been particularly challenged by the anomaly of reinsurers increasing rates and restrictions, which now have been removed by IRDA of how much we can increase rates. So despite all of these challenges, I think the life insurance industry stood up and paid claims in the pandemic, claims that were not priced. Let me be very clear with you. Our pricing, when we sold all these policies, our pricing did not have a pandemic built in. Pricing was based on ordinary mortality.
Correct.
But there wasn't any disclaimers put in. There weren't any difficulties created. So just want to spend that extra 1 minute to give credit where it is certainly required.
Absolutely. I think that is something which, probably not really talked about, but yeah, clearly life insurance industry during the difficult times has kind of helped India go ahead. I'm just taking just a follow-up question, Vishakha ma'am, just taking a international markets perspective. If I wanted to, study how is Singapore market or how is the Hong Kong or Middle East or the US market from life insurance perspective heading to, what do you see the trends coming for a life insurance industry in the coming future, for a futuristic view?
From Hong Kong, the life insurance market that continues to grow despite a huge size that has been there. And the leading channel continues to be bancassurance. So you would have heard a lot of discussions around bancassurance on the Indian,
correct,
in the Indian space, and that continues to be there, and that's probably a huge signal that we need to look at. The US markets, on the other hand, never really had bancassurance. They had a lot of individual agents for distribution. They have in turn now moved to the digital side a big way, and also on the advisory side, so that which has always been a very strong component. While from a product perspective, we had this general opinion that the UK markets only do term and annuities, which is probably true. The Hong Kong markets continue to do all products. Germany continues to do par kind of a products, very clearly linked to debt-based products. The US markets continue to do, products that are linked to debt. So what we call as a par products, they continue to exist world over. Some places they're resurfacing now, and some places, they're not selling. Like UK has still not really picked up anything linked to it, but they've got a very big annuity market. How strong are we on annuities? I know that, HDFC Life does it, and I know several other companies who do annuities. But if I have to just pick up the government schemes, because they're really a very good indicator of, of how the product sells. If you look at the kind of penetration the PMJJBY has achieved and the kind of volumes is achieved and the popularity it is achieved, we still don't have that in the Pradhan Mantri Atal Pension Yojana, which is a very good scheme if you ask me. It's, the 5,000 rupee payout for the rest of the life. It's a good scheme, but the interest rate component and the fact that we need to do our asset liability management over the lifetime of the individual, I think there's a little bit of hesitation there, both from the insured side and from the insurance company side. And then we'll always price looking at it from the future and looking at the fact that we will have reducing interest rates despite the current market scenario. And the customer is always going to think that I can earn much more than what you're paying me. So I think that dissonance is not really being addressed. So the annuity market, while I personally believe will be the biggest market in the future, I don't see that in the short to medium term.
Sure. Thank you for that. Maybe Vibha ma'am, a question to you. so, since we are talking about, government schemes that as Vishakha ma'am was comparing, and, what are a few expectations from your side when we are talking about, what should be a good policy mix, right, from a government perspective for life insurance industry? What are a few expectations, as a head of life insurance company?
So one is that with our regulator itself, and that started happening, we have a new chairman, very, very growth oriented. The language that he's speaking, at least in my 15 years with life insurance, I've not heard that. Somebody standing and saying, what can we do for you? And to move with the times in terms of how we can incorporate technology into various parts of what we do to solve for underwriting. How do we use data? How do we tap customers sensibly? How can we partner on some of the meditech? All of those things, because you have that entire ecosystem that's bubbling, similar to what happened on payments, but they might not necessarily want or be able to do end to end. And so the partnership aspect of it. Various other things, for example, can we invest in insurtechs, fintechs? Can we look at risk-based solvency that will free up capital? So all of that good stuff is beginning to happen. The more recent use and file that came out on Friday unshackles us to a large extent, not on savings, but some of the other products. And that is revolutionary. As far as the government is concerned, an ask would be that in our march towards becoming a pension society, we have to unshackle the way annuities are taxed. It is not equitable. And what happens is that if there's the annuities are bought out of taxed income and they're taxed again, and more so they're taxed when the person is a senior citizen. So to give some sort of a relief of capital gains, or at least the purchase of annuity, that's been an ask for the longest possible time. Risk-based capital is something that I talked about. That's more with the regulator. Some sort of GST, SOPs, and I understand the compulsions, and even more so that the government would be going through right now in terms of balancing their budgets, given the pressure on oil prices and so on, and some of the other commodities. But I'm talking a little bit more medium to longer term, that some sort of relaxation will help Indians focus towards, on getting enough insurance cover. So when we drive a car, we need to have enough cover, but living life, especially when there's a sole breadwinner, there is no real impetus or focus. Those decisions are postponed. They're not pleasant in terms of thinking about those things, and they're naturally postponed. So even a little bit of sweetener helps people focus. We all love to have that tax benefit. We all have invested in these bonds that give you 5,000 rupee tax benefit. And why not, right? So, and worldwide, it's not just India. People don't wake up and say, I want to buy insurance. So there needs to be a nudge, a prod to get them there. So that's another ask in terms of GST. And the last one is the overcrowded ATC. And both go hand in hand in some sense, wherein ATC has whole host of your PPF and NPS and EPF and all the tuition fees and everything in between. So again, some carve out to get people to focus, because if by 2047 we want to have insurance for every Indian and we want to get to a pension society, we're not going to get there unless some of these things to help people focus. So that would be my ask between both the government and the regulator.
Sure. Thank you. Vishakha ma'am, anything you wanted to add from, from your side?
Yes, I think, the nudge aspect has been covered in terms of what is it that we can do to make insurance more purchasable and reduce the effort of distribution. I would actually like to ask for a completely different aspect, and this is on data. I think we are today in the world where we are able to use technology for propensity models. Okay. And there is so much data available today with the government through an Ayushman Bharat or through the Aadhaar or through other government schemes. And this is, and through the PAN cards, there is so much data that is available with the government. I'm not asking for sharing of data, but I'm sure that we can devise a methodology wherein we will be able to pull yes or no fields and build propensity models to be able to actually offer customer propositions to customers. So while that's from identification of customers and identification of customer propositions and ensuring that in this insurance for all by 2047, we actually have the right insurance of the right quantity with everybody. On the claims side, today we can actually prevent a lot of claims if the entire data of every single claim that is being made in this country on health is available for a simple ask of pre-existing. You go back to look at claims, there are two things that really bother life insurance companies. One is fraud and the other is non-disclosure, intentional non-disclosure of medical. Both of these can so easily be addressed if we have access to data, which is, by the way, available, somewhere within this entire system of India.
Yeah.
So how can we design certain ways of sharing information so that it's a win-win for both the insurance company and the customer would be my ask.
Sure. Thank you for that. I think last question, Ashima ma'am, to you. A very sensational news we heard a few days back with regards to increase in repo rates by RBI and withdrawal of accommodative monetary policy. So I wanted to take your views as to how is the policy making happening? How are these few smaller things playing the bigger role in the whole robustness of the economy overall?
Well, we must remember that before COVID, when COVID-19 happened, repo rates were slashed to 4%.
Correct.
So, and now we are in a recovery mode. We were just saying the economy is somewhat resilient. Vibha and Vishakha have been telling us about how the insurance industry has sort of come up, been resilient and contributed in this time. So this is happening through the economy. So you do not need such low repo rates. So the rise is just in response to the recovery and to the inflationary shocks we have got from the Ukraine war. It's very unfortunate that just after COVID, this kind of thing has happened. So as I said, I mean, we have to kind of smooth the shocks as much as possible. And so what happens is you have to look at real rates. If inflation is running at 7%, then a repo rate of 4% means that real rate is negative by 300 basis points.
Correct.
And that means that would create overheating, because people would be, in terms of the real resources they have to pay to get loans and so on. So you need to raise rates. But as I said, we're very conscious that the real rate should not deviate from so-called equilibrium. So I think what happened in India after the global financial crisis, we had too much stimulus. Again, repo rates were slashed and the rising was very slow and delayed. So there was overheating, double deficits and so on. And after that, because there were these double deficits, there was over tightening, too much tightening, even in liquidity. And so this time, learning from the past, go in a more balanced way, raise rates, make sure that the repo, even now with the current rise, the real rate is negative about 100 basis points. So we are aware that the economy is coming in after a slowdown in the current situation. After the global financial crisis, there was a boom, an infrastructure boom, and there was already overheating. So the rise is not going to be such as to snuff out the recovery, but it will prevent overheating. And at the same time, a large amount of liquidity was injected. So some of that has to be withdrawn to come back to a more normal availability of liquidity.
Sure. Thank you. And I think just to kind of, move this topic from the global recovery to, we are talking about promising women leaders of India, and we have a lot of aspiring women audience today in this, to hear our panelists. So, could you, ma'am, Ashima ma'am, could you just kind of tell us your story, tell us your success story and some message you wanted to pass on to the aspiring women here?
Well, I think that I started my academic career at a time when India was going through reforms and my field was macroeconomics. So there were a lot of puzzles and debates. And I used to think that the debate should be more based on facts and, rather than ideology. So that got me involved in the media debate and started a column. And research also, you find that theories that are imported from the West don't fit. So my research was more about arriving at concepts that really worked in the Indian context and then applying them to understand what is happening and to draw out policy suggestions and so on. And this seems to have, sort of worked, and a lot of publications, a lot of students, a lot of policy committees and so on. And my message to women would be there's a lot you can do and do what interests you and where you can contribute. So for me personally, another thing that helped was we were just talking about digitization. So because I had a family and a young child, and that's often a constraint for women. But when I joined the IGIDR, my institute, we were going through that email and internet phase.
Sure.
And suddenly you found so much you could reach and access. So
Right.
all these are tools that can help women get over sort of natural biological limitations and do a lot more. Yeah.
True. Thank you. Viva ma'am, what's your take? How was your journey and what's your message to the women, aspiring women?
So I've maybe in 4 parts. One is that women need to have clarity of what is it that they want. There's no right or wrong answer. Not working is fine. Not working outside is fine. Dropping off is fine. And so first of all, that guilt aspect, that we love to be saddled with. Is one. So that can only come from self-introspection, and also that can change over a period of time. But that constant conversation is important. Second is that are we running, is a person running a sprint or a marathon? That clarity also is required, because the approaches in one's career are very different. If you're running a sprint, then there's a superhuman effort that's required initially to get somewhere, as against a marathon when you can pretty much have it all and maybe be able to pace it. So if you want corner office by 30, that's a very different approach than corner office or no, let's see where this gets to, but I really want everything. Then that's a very different approach. So that with your partner, with your immediate support system to have, so that's a second aspect in terms of understanding oneself. Third is what I call a brownie bank, wherein it's very important, not only for women, but for men too, and not to job hop, because when you don't need anything from the employer, that's when is to create a brownie bank, that you say that, I'll work exceptionally well, get the employer hooked on to you, and the employer will be eating out of your hand. Employer will not care whether you're going to sit in Timbuktu and work at night because your small kid is going to be asleep. But you can't do that if one keeps job hopping. So create that brownie bank is a third point. And fourth is for women to be comfortable in their skin. We look different, we sound different, our approach could be different, might or might not be the alpha woman, or so anything's fine. I think one has one's own formula, but there are very few stereotypes. And so forever a woman's having either the imposter syndrome or just not comfortable because it's been done differently. We think differently, we are wired differently. It's important that we are comfortable and we are enjoying the journey in that whole process. And finally, like Ashima said, the tech helps now. Now I feel, if I had my kid now in this era, I would be smiling all the way, wherein work from home, your long hours can be done from home, you can multitask, employer is bending over backwards to retain the key staff. Life is very different. I'm sure that my co-panelists will say, it was a very different level of physical struggle, and different ways of doing things. So I really think it's gotten a lot easier now.
Yeah, true. Thank you. Vishaka ma'am, what is your take?
Yeah, I started working when you had very clear work-life differences. Okay, and I'm talking about working when you didn't even have a mobile phone. Forget about internet connectivity and so on and so forth. And honestly, you left office, you were not contactable until you reached home when you had a landline. And if you were not at home, you were not contactable. So I think the whole definition of work and life was absolutely, literally Chinese walls. Okay, you could live life like that. Then with the advent and with all the benefits, because I so clearly remember that I used to, when I was working in the physical space over the weekend, I would actually carry this many files home to Saturday, Sunday, and clear the files. With the digital space, I could just get up at 4 in the morning, 2 hours before the kids, and finish all your mails, finish all your notes, finish everything, and get that kind of a comfort level. Travel was far more easier to be connected. You didn't come back to a pile of work sitting on your table. So digitization definitely made the world simpler, better, and there's no taking away that it's easier to work now than it was in the past. But if you are able to very clearly recognize that work life is integrated, don't continue to look for a separation of work life. You have to start looking at it as an integrated approach. When you're sitting in office, there are multiple times, I'm sure all of us have received a call for an Amazon delivery, or spoken to the maid to get something, or the child has called, they are in the middle of a fight and you're sorting it out. I'm sure we've done all that. So similarly, when you're at home on a Sunday, if you get a call and you need to take that 5 minutes, it shouldn't cause stress, and that's what I mean by integrated approach. You can't treat it as different, because that's what technology has done for us. So I think that would be what my take would be in terms of the shift that we need to make in our head. Because I know a lot of people who still say work life, and then they say we don't have work. What exactly is it? You should be able to prioritize, and you should be able to get everything done. And that really is what it is. From a messaging perspective, I think, so very clearly, Sonia, I'm a huge believer in you versus you. Okay. It is define the why of your working. I know in early years, it will be very clearly to say it's extrinsic. It's for the money, it's for the recognition, it's for the fame, it's for the status, and they're all very good reasons. But you need to have a reason beyond all of that, which is very intrinsic to you, which is very personal to you. Why do you work? I mean, for me, it was actually as simple as because I can. I mean, it was like, why are you doing this? Because I can and I want to. And then it's about saying you versus you. Can I be a better version of me? And can I be a better version of the next me? And that is, I'm telling you, that is a joy that no one can take away from you and no one can give you. That's an intrinsic motivator that will keep you going despite whatever is happening.
True.
Extrinsic motivators are always dependent. You get a bad appraisal, you get a slightly low bonus, and you're sad. I expected X percentage, I got a X minus percentage. Recognition, I wanted to be in the top 10, I didn't become top 10, I'm going to get demotivated. So, you can use extrinsic motivators, but your real motivation has to come intrinsically, and you need to define the why. The why are you doing this? Because I like doing it, because it's something that I can do, because I'm trained to do it. I've studied to do it. Oh, whatever it is. I mean, each of us has our own motivators. But I would leave behind 2 messages to say, find the why from an intrinsic motivation, and it is you versus you out there.
Great. Thank you so much. I think a common theme which came out from all 3 of you was that you need to identify what interests you, pick up that, and kind of keep going behind it. And as Viva ma'am clearly said, have that clarity as to what do you want to have, what do you want to achieve, and then kind of keep going and do not give up. So I think that is the common binding thing in all 3 high powered panelists that we have today. Thank you really for your time. It was really an insightful session today. I think a great mix of discussion around, women, aspiring women and leaders, women leaders, as compared to a very clingy topic around economics and, global recovery, etc., etc. But thank you so much. Really happy talking to all of you. And thanks for all your inputs. And, we seized India going strong with all your words here. So thank you again. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia.
So, all right, that was an invigorating session. We all were intensely trying to listen to everything that was spoken about. Thank you very, very much, panel members. And please allow us, while you enjoy the rest of the show with us, please allow us to move to our next session, which is an exclusive fireside chat. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, no struggle can ever succeed without women participating side by side with men. Well, there are 2 powers in the world. One is the sword and the other is the pen. there is a third power that is stronger than both, that of women, said Malala Yousafzai. Well, you and I, ladies and gentlemen, will now delve into an actionable discussion that I spoke about, and we would get talking, we would get cracking about the women in leadership, making the world a better place to live. Well, warm round of cheer, ladies and gentlemen. I would expect nothing less than that as we welcome our distinguished panel speakers. Allow us to warmly welcome, let's set the stage for our panelist, Ms. Amira Shah, promoter and MD, Metropolis Healthcare. Let's also welcome Ms. Upasna Taku, the co-founder of MobiQuick. A warm welcome to you both. And ladies and gentlemen, in a bit, we will also be joined by Ms. Ananya Birla, the founder of Swatantra Microfin. Well, the conversations of this fireside chat, ladies and gentlemen, not literally though, there's no fire around, but of course, there will be good firecrackers in terms of the discussion that will be held together by our session moderator. Join me in also welcoming Ms. Nandita Jain, the Director, Financial Advisory, Deloitte, India. And Nandita, with that, it's over to you. We are awaiting for the discussions to unfold.
Amira, my first question is to you. In some of your previous interviews, you've mentioned that being a woman, you faced fair amount of prejudice in your profession. You clearly did not succumb to any of those pressures and have managed to scale up your business multifold, not only in India, but also in other geographies. What belief kept you powering through these challenges?
A couple of things, Anta. I think, I've seen the times when, of course, older men didn't want to sit across with me and do a deal because in healthcare, of course, age and gender sort of rule. And therefore, in the early days, 15 years, 17 years ago, the older the man, they would always call me their daughter, their niece, that sort of thing. And which was fine as long as they were willing to sit across the table and do a deal, but that was hard for them. I saw situations of meeting with clients, but clients would not want to look at me. They want to look at my manager, who may be 3 levels lower, but they won't look at me during a meeting. I've had situations of trying to raise funds. And of course, funds always ask you when you're going to get married, when you're going to get pregnant, is that going to be something that's going to make you compromise Metropolis? Those questions came up. So you've seen this, you've seen people who don't want to work for you because they say, oh, I can't work for a female boss. So you see these sort of situations about youth and gender sort of coming up a bunch of times. I think for me, I think really what's kept me going is number one, the fact that they would sort of reject me and say that I will not work for you or I will not do a deal with you, etc., made me that much more convinced that things need to change. And it's only those of us who keep persevering down the line and things will change. So I think some of it was just the need for myself to be contrarian and the need to actually do things the opposite way of what's normal in India. I think secondly, look, having a family parents who've been incredibly liberal and supportive is huge help because when you come home, the inner voice in your mind is not one saying you can't do it, but the inner voice is one saying, you can. And you've as a woman, you're no less, you're equal. And whether you're better or not is up to your skills, right? So I think it's your inner voice, having that support system, and then the voice that you develop as you grow old. Do you allow that voice to be one that lessens you? Do you allow that voice to be one that carries you up? And frankly, we all have days where we have voices, our own voices, which make us feel less, which depress us, which put us in a dark place. And it's up to us to really manage our emotions and find that voice that really helps us go to a better place again. And it's just, I think it's a daily journey. It's more than anything else.
I think absolutely pertinent. And I'm sure many of us echo what you're saying, because especially in India, there's some sort of social stigma attached to a woman who wants to build her career, let alone, aspire to become a leader. But now that you're here and, you're an inspirational leader for so many of us, what are the steps that you think corporates can take to encourage women to take, leadership roles in the wake of these societal pressures of, raising children or giving time to their families? What are the steps that you think corporates can take?
I mean, frankly, the only thing I think corporates can do is level of education. The only thing that corporates have, to some extent, is monies. They can use it through CSR if that's allowed for education building. And really, the education building has to be done, I would say, 70% for the men and 30% for the women. It's not that the women are not looking for opportunities. It's not like they're not wanting to do both. The challenge is the lack of support system. You have a husband at home, in-laws at home, parents, everybody's telling you, why are you driving yourself mad? Your children are without you. How will your children grow up? This constant daily pressure is a lot. So I think changing the voices around us, I think, is probably the most important thing. And I feel that the voice is already there in women, for most women, right? It's just the outside voice becomes stronger than the inner voice. So I think if we try to change our environment, evolve our environment to a better thought, I think that's where we should really spend our money and our time. We can always do tactical things of, creating those kind of policies in the workplace, of, creating that support, allowing women to come back in later stage, not penalizing them for their leaves. We can do all of those things. But I think the ultimate thing really is in the support system that you have around you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ameera. Upasana, you've had a journey that has been sort of different from what Ameera's was. You started up in 2009 when there were hardly any women in the fintech space, and you co-founded and founded 2 fintech companies. So what are the kind of challenges that you faced in your entrepreneurial journey, and what are the messages that you'd like to give to future aspirants in this space?
So, all of us might have had different journeys, but I was very, diligently listening to when Ameera was speaking. And basically, she has covered most of the kind of biases that we face as women, whether it is fundraising, whether it is the age bias. And, age bias I can vouch for, not only in India, but, I began my career in the US working for PayPal as a product manager. And I can tell you that even there I faced age bias, because I was one of the youngest product manager, right out of college with a master's in engineering. And most of the business folks that I was working with, and even some of the product folks, they were, at least 10 years or even 15 years older than me. And here they had this Indian girl in their mid-20s telling them, this shouldn't be done like this, this should be done by that. So it's, ego is sort of a big stumbling block when it comes to personal or professional relationships. And, so that we have seen this whole thing about, as a woman, how are you going to lead? I've had many years ago, a leader who I had hired come back and tell me a few months later that I can't report to you. I'm like, boss, why did you join? It's my company. I've started it. I interviewed you. Now here you are telling me I can't report to you. I mean, it doesn't work like that. So all those kind of things, we have faced. And fundraising thing she spoke about, don't want to repeat, but, truly this has happened. Like, we have, raised money from several Indian and, multinational or global venture capital and PE companies. But I can tell you, I didn't raise any angel money or seed money, because when I was trying to raise, I tried 1 or 2 times to raise angel or seed money. Those were the types of questions people were asking me. When are you getting married? When are you having a child? And I'm like, boss, मेरे पापा ने नहीं मेरे से पूछा, मेरे boyfriend ने नहीं मेरे से पूछा कि कब शादी करेंगे, कब बच्चे होंगे. Who are you to ask me this? यार, it's like there has to be some limit of how far people can go. So what we did? We just didn't raise money at that stage, and we just bootstrapped the company for the first 4 years, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to raise money from these, most of whom were desi early stage angels at the time. And of course, the market has now evolved a lot more for tech companies, and especially fintech founders. I can tell you the avenues for raising early stage money have become far more simpler. And not only this, I mean, we mentioned fundraising, we mentioned, teams and leaders in the teams, but I face similar situations in regulatory conversations or even government department conversations where I don't know, I must have worked hard in the last 10 years, but at least now they talk to me. Like 8 or 10 years ago, they used to ask me that in your company, don't you have a male director? And I was like, yes, there is a male director, but I'm the one responsible for this. So, you better talk to me. Otherwise, it's going to take forever for us to come to any sort of closure on this, thing that we are discussing. So all of those things are there, but I think that it's a fact of life. The ratios of women founders, women leaders, and women rising through the ranks, those numbers are only going up. So, we can't be talking about just the negatives and the biases and the difficulties we have faced. We have to talk about the positives, that despite all of these obstacles, Amira and many other, women leaders in our generation are forging the way forward. And I think that is sort of the inspiration that, I would like to give to all of the young leaders and entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs out there, that everything is possible. And, you can't be, just because there are so many obstacles should not mar you. I mean, it's not easy being a male founder of a tech startup or a large company today either. So it can't be easier in the current context to be a female leader. It's only difficult. So I often say that if my co-founders have to work 2x harder being males, I probably have to work 3.5 or 4x harder to get the same level of outcomes or even respect for that matter. So be that it may, one has to keep forging ahead, because agar nahi hoga though, then how will we have the first woman to go to space and the first woman to list their companies and the first woman for everything, right? So we have to, my bias is towards action and positive outcomes.
Thanks, Upasana. So, I mean, there's this one question which I have for both of you, and which is, basically, what is that attribute that you think, we as women have, which over time we can hone to become future leaders in different spheres of life, whether it be social or professional?
Look, I don't, firstly, I'm not a big fan of this sort of gender generalization. Men are like this, women are like this. I think amongst women, often, if I hang around in a group of women, I'm very unlike most of them. Doesn't make any one person bad or good. It's just we're different. We have different life journeys. We have different experiences. But the one characteristic I would say that probably is in a majority of women, not all, I think is an ability to nurture, is an ability to nurture something beyond yourself. And I think that can be actually a very, very critical personality trait that we use with our children, we use with our families, we also can use in our business, and actually nurture our employees, make them feel heard, make them feel understood, make them feel important and relevant. Actually, the only people I feel we don't nurture are ourselves, and we nurture everybody else. And that's a different conversation for a different day. I'm also guilty of that. But I think that is an ability that most women have. And I think bringing that nurturing, that warmth, that compassion, that empathy, that love into the workspace is something I think actually most women can do, men can't. But we have to see that trait as a strength and not as a weakness. And actually we are told exactly the opposite, that our ability to love and nurture and be open-hearted and be vulnerable is this huge weakness. And, all leaders have to be these alpha, strong guys who, like push people around and tell everybody what to do. I'm not a big believer of that.
Upasana, what about you? What do you feel about this? The question that I raised on the attribute that we can hone to become future leaders.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Amira made a very unique point, and which is generally treated as a weakness. And the other thing I'll tell you is that if you are on the flip side of that, then that is also questioned by people. So as an example, while it is right that not everyone needs to be type A and the typical male alpha kind of behavior, but let us say that some women also are fairly strong and assertive in their opinions and how they would like to get things done, or how a certain project should possibly be thought about or executed, then that is also not very well received per se. And
it's too aggressive.
Yeah. So I mean, I can tell you, last year I was trying to in the markets, get to the capital markets. And I was sitting in a meeting with like 5 investment banks and their MDs and their top 2 people. And, one of them says that, he said in a private conversation, but he's like, madam ka phone aata hai, to yahan pe sab log hil jate hain meri team mein. But aapka phone aata hai, he's telling my co-founder. So then we are fine. And I also joked and I said that, sir, aap is room mein dekh lo. There are 25 men and there is 1 woman. If I speak with you in a very coy and subtle manner, do you think anybody in your team of these, super shrewd investment bankers will take me seriously if I'm very, docile to them? So then he was, he gave a chuckle. But I'm just saying that this is how people think, this is how people question. But, we have to get things done. So, there are employees and there are, especially in I admire what Ameera said, that there are people you want to hone and then they will become the champions within your organization and they'll grow with the company and deliver amazing things for the company. But also on the flip side, you also have to teach, like personally, I like to teach or at least coach all the women leaders in my companies. And we have quite a few directors and VPs that, you have to decide how you're going to operate in a context depending on the audience, internal or external. So there are some people where you just can't, let your guard down and where you can't really show your real hand, and you have to get them to arrive at what you want them to do by being, playing a very different conversation style. There are places where you have to be, my way or highway, especially, things that lead with regard to governance or ethics, there you have to have a clear stand that we'll not tolerate this because this is how the culture of the company is. And this is what we think is right or wrong. And there are other places where, one can have a very flexible and lenient view, whether it is in terms of employee policies, etc. So my view is that, women have the capacity to go from the nurturing kind, leader kind, to the, the fearless leader who can get things done which nobody imagined could be done in that, with, let's say, shorter period of time, limited resources. And I think we should play to all our strengths.
Absolutely. I think we're almost at the hour. So thank you so much, both of you. Thank you for taking out time and sharing your experiences. I'm sure many of the listeners who, listen to this fireside chat will have so much to learn from the experiences that you guys have shared. Thank you again, and all the best. Let's now hear it from Ananya Birla on whatever steps women leaders can take to make this world a better living place. Hi, Ananya.
Hi.
The first question I have for you is on Swatantra. So, the microfinance organization that you founded, it is striving to improve access to finance for women entrepreneurs in rural India. And the kind of financial independence that it aims to provide is likely to open or improve access to various services which might be currently inaccessible for such women. So what is that one message that you'd like to give to policymakers to improve access for various of these services to the marginalized women, and also for, these women to come forward and actually use these services?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and thank you so much for, saying what Swatantra does. I really appreciate it. Stats indicate that women participation in the labor force in general has dropped to 17% post-pandemic. So, policymakers, I think they are, and, this is where all of us need to come together and rack our brains to see what we can do. So on a macro level, I think to increase access, we need to understand what's going on. And for that, I think we need to capture a financial inclusion index, but through a gender lens. We don't have that. So how are we going to get an accurate picture? Data is very important for everything. One is on-ground information, which is very important, which we have, but really getting that macro information in an accurate way, keeping gender in mind, would be very helpful. Also through our clients, and generally through research, women have been proven to be very trustworthy borrowers, like we all know. So can policymakers create either a platform or different partnership models to impact financial literacy and awareness even more effectively than they already are? Because as soon as that awareness and that literacy comes into play, it increases demand, and hence it gives us a chance to have more access to them. There is this, I think you'll be aware, there is this scheme, it's a subsidy scheme of co-ownership of assets. So if a woman is a co-owner, then you get a subsidy. It's almost like a reward. So, if more schemes like this can be mandated, it would be very, very helpful, where actually you are ensuring, policymakers ensuring that a woman in the household is mandated to be included in the financial ecosystem of the family, and they're getting rewarded in the form of a subsidy if a woman is involved. And I think, very important, we do this on the daily. We're learning about their behavior on the daily. But if policymakers can ensure that tech platforms and tech services are developed with an understanding of our women users' behavior and have on-ground support. So what is their behavior actually like? What is our consumers' behavior like? Especially because digital is so large, and the entire financial ecosystem plays such an important function in financial inclusion, is that if financial players can be better equipped by policymakers and actually understanding their behavior, because it's very different, and our fintech companies, are very used to very different behavior. So there's a gap there. So can we fill that gap? So I think this is what I can think of right now from the top of my head. But the new MFI guidelines that came in, a big thank you to policymakers for that. It really shows their trust in us, and it also shows it also gives us so much more room to grow and become much larger. So small things like this make a big, it's not a small thing, it's a very big change, but it sort of really encouraged all of us at Swatantra. So yeah, there's a few things that I can think of, and I think we're on the right path to make financial inclusion more mainstream, and to make financial access to women easier.
Great. Whatever you're doing is great in the field, and I hope policymakers are listening to what you're saying here and probably just expedite and strengthen the efforts towards this end. Ananya, there's another question that I have for you, which is, what is that one attribute that you think, we as women have, which we can over time sort of develop or hone to become future leaders, whether it be in the social sphere or professional sphere?
Yeah, it's an amazing question, and I think because usually I would have said regardless of gender, and I would have given an answer, but because this award is particularly given that I am a woman, and I'm so grateful to be one, and I'm so grateful for this award, I'll stick to that mandate. I think we have an innate, this is when I'm answering this, I am in no way saying that men are not. I'm just specifying that I think women do. I think we have an innate potential of being able to take a lot of pain. So our threshold of pain is very high, physical and emotional, and I think that really, as women, as a species, I think that really helps us to sometimes take way more than we should. But what tends to happen is that if we can channelize that correctly, I think we can go leaps and bounds, not just in our personal life, but also in our professional life. So that's number one, is our threshold for pain is already very high. So to really try to hone in on that and fine tune it in the right direction. And the next would be emotional intelligence. I think women are very emotionally intelligent. And EQ is, in my opinion, having a high EQ is number one for being a good leader. You need to understand your people. You need to understand their needs. You need to understand everyone's strengths. You need to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. You need to bring on people who enhance your strengths and weaken your weaknesses. And all of this comes with a lot of self-awareness, which comes with a high EQ. And I think women already have that. So I would say, as women, we have very high EQs, which we can hone into, and a high threshold of pain.
Great. Glad to get your thoughts. Thank you so much, Ananya.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you very much to our women speakers, and I must say women leaders, for sharing and sharing it with all their heart, all your personal experiences. That means a lot to this forum, and your presence, of course. Thank you for taking the time out. It was such a warm experience listening, like really listening to you all. And I'm sure our audience members would agree. And they might also give me a virtual high five. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will head on to our final and, in fact, a very powerful session, after which, of course, the highlight moment of our show would happen. But right now, Know Your Money Masterclass is awaiting your attention. This will be about a woman's guide to financial management at all the stages of her life. So I'm sure you all would agree that this is something that is unmissable, right? So to arm us and to arm everybody out here with her expertise, joining us would be Kiran Telang, who is, ladies and gentlemen, a certified financial planner and an author. There's so many hats that a woman can don, right? Handing over the virtual baton to you, Kiran. It's over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today, speaking to such a nice audience. The topic that I'll be speaking on today is investment perspectives for women. So we see that money discussions, money conversations are usually focused around numbers, and it's usually men who are talking money. Women talking money, women participating in discussions and decisions on money making is still on a very lower side. We find very few women in the family taking charge of their money. It's usually the man of the house. It could either be the father, brother, or the husband who's taking decisions on money. Both for the family as well as the money that is earned by the woman. So it's quite unfortunate. While the numbers of women participating in money discussions is increasing, it still needs a long way to go. There are still many women who should be joining in this conversation. It becomes very important. So when I deal with women investors, I generally come across three reasons why women are not a part of this conversation. The three reasons that I get usually is, what is the need for me to understand it? So why should I understand money? My father or my brother or my husband is taking care of it. I don't really need to know it. The second reason given is, it's too complicated for me, too many numbers and too much jargon. I really don't understand it. And the third reason given is, I am doing so much already. I take care of the house. I take care of the kids' education. I'm maintaining the social, relationships. I take care of my extended family as well, and I have a job. So where do I find the time? I mean, if I just start doing money also, that will also be piled onto my plate. I don't really have the time to do this. I don't want to do it. So all these three, to a certain extent, yes, it could be a valid reason for many women. See, in most families, nothing is going to go wrong. For most lives, everything goes normally. But for those women who face problems, who face trauma in the form of divorce or death of their spouse, they are placed in a very difficult situation. And it is not very uncommon. And all these kind of situations, they will not announce and come. So it can happen anytime to anybody. So let me just go ahead and share about these things. I mean, why do they happen, and why women need to be involved. I'll try and answer these three queries that women generally have. So why should any woman want to understand? Why should she get involved in money discussion? One, because money is a basic need for everybody. Whether you are a corporate working woman, whether you run a business, or whether you are a housewife, in all cases, the basic need of roti, kapda, makan, as we say, is there for everybody. So only after those basic needs are taken care of, can you go beyond it and think of other things. You can think of your dreams, your aspirations, what kind of life do you want to build. You can take care of your relationships. All these things can come into picture, into focus, only when your basic needs are taken care of. Imagine not having enough to eat or not having a roof over your head. that kind of a situation will leave you with very little mind space to think about other things. So all these basic things really need you to have money. So a comfortable life can be created only when you have money. And that is where the most important part comes in, where every woman in the family, whether she's single or whether she's a part of a married family, she needs to understand money management, investment. She needs to be a part of the conversation. Culturally, in our Indian families, talking about money has been a taboo. You know, money is something that you don't really talk about. And now when you're talking about women getting involved in these conversations, it's even more difficult. So culturally, it becomes very difficult to break the norms while things are changing. You know, earlier there used to be joint families where women of the house were not allowed to speak much in major decision making. Now, with nuclear families, yes, women can talk about money to their spouses, and those restrictions which existed in the joint families are kind of disappearing. But again, the societal perceptions and the stereotyping remains. So if a girl has grown up in a family where the father had always taken money decisions, she's seen her mother not getting involved in any money decisions, she's grown up with that mindset. Similarly, a boy in a similar kind of a family will also grow up with a mindset that money management is a man's job. So these societal perceptions continue based on what way you were raised in. There is again a stereotyping which is very prevalent that women are not good with money. And money is usually equated with numbers. So again, the stereotype that women are not good with numbers, women are not good with maths. So all these stereotypes kind of feed in to the belief that money cannot be managed by women and they should not be involved in money making or money managing decisions, which is very unfortunate because we see so many women who are very high up on their careers. We have many financial institutions today that are led by women. So it is a very incorrect perception that women cannot manage money. In fact, I would say on the other side that women have great money management skills. Because if you go back, to earlier times where our grandmothers used to manage the entire household with whatever limited money that was given to them by the men in the family, whatever the joint family had earned. So they used to be so good with budgeting. They could manage the household with the limited amount of resources they had and still have a little left to save. So those used to be saved in jars and rice pots. And there used to be still a little left for, those treats that used to be given to children and grandchildren. So women are inherently very good at managing money. But again, when we come back to the obstacles that are there, the laws are pretty complicated. So if you talk about the succession laws, how a woman is going to inherit or how she can pass on her wealth that she owns to the next generation, the laws are pretty complicated. We have several succession laws in India, which are all based on the faith that you follow. So you have Hindu Succession Act, you have the Sharia law, you have the Indian Succession Act. These are complicated. Not many people understand these things. And nowadays, with interfaith marriages becoming quite common, it gets even more complicated. So if a woman needs to have a say in how she is going to pass on her own wealth to the next generation, she needs to understand money. And of course, we have a lot of research showing that women tend to live longer than men. So there would be a certain time where she might be in a position where she has to manage her money alone because the male member of the family is no longer around. So in that scenario as well, the need arises for the money management to be understood by women. Now let us go to the next objection that I had mentioned. It's too complicated. Yes, there is a lot of jargon in the finance industry. Unfortunately, the industry has been built up using jargon, using complicated terminology, using complicated products. But that is not all that is there to it. Money management is more about what kind of life you want to live. And each one of us can definitely define that. So where do I want to stay? What kind of house do I wish to purchase? Or what are my plans or dreams for my children's education? Do I want them to be educated in India, abroad. I mean, these are things which are life decisions. And these life decisions, anybody can take. Yes, the back end of it, there will be money management, there will be investment decisions that need to be made. But once you have your life goals sorted, that is the first big step taken. And that is where women also need to have a say about how things are going to be managed. Beyond that, there is a lot of common sense that you need to use. There is, of course, a need for financial literacy. So basic financial literacy is mandatory. We do not have much happening at the school or college level about financial literacy, but nowadays with the internet explosion, there are a lot many opportunities and options to learn. So if you're really keen to understand money management, you have a lot of options. There is no dearth of resources. So once you learn the basic things about money, about investments, what are the various financial products available in the market, you are in a position to ask the right questions. So if somebody is offering you a financial product for sale, you will be in a position to ask that, why should I buy this product? What are the risks involved? How is it going to help me meet my goals? And what if the results are not as being portrayed in the quotation or in the sample that you're showing? What happens then? So these are the kind of questions that will arise, and this comes out of a lot of common sense. So it is not only knowing the total nitty-gritty of any financial product, but a lot of common sense, knowing what to avoid, seeing the pitfalls that are there in anything that is being offered to you. So it's not all that complicated. And you always have an option to hire a financial advisor who can also work as a coach for you. So while you are you're holding the reins of how your life goals are being defined or how you're going to reach those life goals, there is somebody at the back end taking care of all the jargon and all the complications. So it's not that complicated once you take the first step towards understanding it. Now let's come to the third reason. I already have too much to do. No doubt about it. Women are multitaskers and there are lot many responsibilities that they shoulder in the family. But money management is not something that can be ignored. There is a very heavy cost of not knowing. Take an example of a 30-year-old widow with a young child. Her in-laws are not letting her take charge of whatever was in the husband's name, who is no more. And she's running from pillar to post to just figure out where is the money and how is she going to live life and take care of her little. A middle-aged woman who was never in a corporate job or who had never gotten self-employed. She had no earnings because a marital family believed that women of the house should not work. And now she's getting divorced, has 2 teenage children, and she has to start life on her own again. Where is she left without money? I mean, she needs to know where the money is, how she can claim her assets, how she can claim what is rightfully hers, because she's given years to this marriage and now she's left with nothing. An old widow who's lost her husband and she's sitting in front of a lot of files and papers, not knowing what to do because she's never handled money in her life and she's so overwhelmed with all the paperwork that is in front of her and she doesn't know what to do with it. So all these situations can actually be very simple if the women were involved in the money conversation. Had they known why money was being invested, where was the money being invested, who are the people to call in case of an eventuality, she would have been in a much better position. On the other side, if there is a cost of not knowing, there are huge benefits of being involved. The benefits of knowing where your money is going, what is doing. When a couple is deciding on life goals, each one of them can have some biases about investment decisions to be made to meet those life goals. Now, each of these biases can cancel each other. If there are 2 people involved, if one person is a high risk taker and the other person is a conservative investor, the biases can cancel out each other and they can have a more balanced kind of an investment, which will help them lead to their life goals. So taking wrong decisions because it's only one person who's managing and is not able to see that the decision can be wrong in the long run. That can be avoided if there is another person looking over the shoulder and helping to make those decisions. Another benefit of knowing is that you are again passing on that legacy to your children. If the children see that the parents are taking money decisions jointly and they are, in line with what needs to be done for the family, even in difficult times, the children will learn the same things. And so you create a very financially literate family going forward as well. So these are the reasons. Now, what do you actually do? If you really want to get involved in money management, there are a few very basic things that can be taken care of. The first thing is knowing your cash flow. I would say the cash flow is like having your general health checkup. So your blood pressure, your sugar monitoring, and your complete blood count, those kind of basic tests which doctors do to take care of your health situation. Cash flow is something similar in personal finance. So if you know where your income is coming from, so obviously there will be salary, there will be business income, which is clearly monitored, how much is coming in. But there could be other incomes which are indirectly coming in. There could be dividends, there could be interest amounts coming, there could be rentals. So there are several sources of income. And the outflow, that is the expenses, they again fall in various different heads. Now, basis that you will be able to arrive at how much are you able to save. So is there any capacity for you to save, or you need to cut down on your expenses? So once you have this cash flow under control, there are a lot of things you can do. You can actually increase your surplus that you're able to save, and that surplus that you have in hand can be invested to meet your goals for the future. Second important thing that you can do is maintain your records in order. Very often we see that people do not know where their monies are lying. So there could be old accounts which are lying dormant. There could be investments or provident fund of the previous employer which is still unclaimed. There could be some old share certificates which are lying somewhere in some file. Some investments have been forgotten. So there will be several such places where money is just lying unutilized or underutilized. So once you maintain the records, all these things will get cleared up. And in case of any eventuality, these records will again come to help, say a health eventuality. So if there is any hospitalization, if you have your records in place, you will know how to put in a health claim. If there is a death in the family, the life insurance claim becomes easier. If there is an emergency like a job loss, if you have maintained your records, you know what investments you're holding, you will be able to figure out where do you pull out the money to meet the immediate requirements. So these are a bit of tedious homework, but yes, definitely they help you in the long run. And keep reviewing things periodically. So it's not that you make it one time and you just keep it there. You need to keep on reviewing, updating these things, whether things still fit into your overall story that you are building up for yourself. Things are fitting in and directing, pointing towards your life goals. If not, what changes need to be done? And if you don't understand, or if you do not have the time, get professional help. That is definitely going to sort out a lot of things for you and keep things in order. While you are the primary decision maker still, but there is professional help so that you don't make the mistakes that can prove costly in terms of money and time. So once these basic things are in place, you will be in line to meet your life goals, and you will be able to be participating positively in the money conversations in your family. So just remember this one thing: planning of personal finances is not really about money. It is about living the life of your choice. So I'll leave you with this thought. May you all be healthy and happy and be part of money conversations in your family, in your community as well. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the unveiling of the coffee table book, let's have an address by the diva herself, the power personified, the Indian actress. Let's have some warm, enthusiastic round of cheer as we welcome on screen Sonakshi Sinha.
Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and are safe and fit and fine and healthy. Today, it's my privilege to be present amongst you all, well, digitally of course, and share my experience for the ETX Femina Promising Women Leaders 2022 Coffee Table Book. We all know that women play a pivotal role in the success of any society, any culture. And we know that without the upliftment of women, no society can prosper. Women now, with their sheer grit and determination, are spearheading almost every sector of the economy, be it financial services, education, retail, healthcare, entertainment, politics, you name it. The world as a whole has become privy to women's power and has woken up to their achievements. Having said that, leadership is not only for the people at higher posts. I think leadership is where you position yourself every step of your life. Women with their eye on the future are being flexible, they're being intuitive. And I feel that is what leadership is all about. She is the main change agent. She is empowered, she is energized, she is enthusiastic, and she is here to stay. Today, we're all gathered here to celebrate such women leaders who have achieved so much despite all odds and are an inspiration for many others to follow. In fact, I recently ventured into the world of entrepreneurship, and here's this little story about my brand So Easy. I'll keep it short, don't worry. So Easy is a homegrown brand that aims at selling easy to use and good quality press-on nails, I'm wearing So Easy, that are not only made in India, but are also designed by Indian women, a trend that I hope many new entrepreneurs would choose to follow in the future. We're soon going to be adding a lot more products under its umbrella, and we hope to empower more women in the workforce. In such similar instances, let's look at commemorating women leadership and their achievements in the ETX Femina Promising Women Leaders 2022 Coffee Table Book. This coffee table book will immortalize the stories of women business visionaries behind many of today's outstanding corporate success stories. These trailblazers need to be recognized because they've stood out as stalwarts and have collectively, with their intellect and economic prudence, steered the business towards a new growth trajectory. Let us dive further into their many stories of success and learn from it. Thank you all for listening, and I'm so happy that I could be a part of this event today. Here's wishing you all a huge, a magnificent, and a grand success. All the best.
All right, so kicking the glory off in style and of course with a lot of power in the alphabetical order, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you all our first promising women leader. Our women leader, ladies and gentlemen, please come together and give it up for Amira Shah, the promoter and managing director, Metropolis Healthcare. Congratulations.
This is Amira Shah, promoter and managing director of Metropolis Healthcare, and I just want to thank the ET and Femina Promising Women Leaders of India coffee table book that's coming about for recognizing and felicitating me. My deep gratitude and thanks go to all my fellow metropolitans, almost 5,000 of us out there who have worked so ridiculously and so committedly during COVID in taking care of all Indians. And as I've always said, every award belongs to each of you. I love you all. Thank you so much. And I really hope that all the young women are leaders out there. India continues to recognize you, appreciate you, and support you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next women leader is all set to take the limelight, all set to take the spotlight. Let's give it up for Dr. Amiti Agrawal, the medical director from Sunshine Fertility and IVF Center. Hearty congratulations to you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Amiti Agrawal, the medical director of Sunshine Fertility and IVF Centers from Mumbai, and we are running 3 centers strong in Mumbai, one in Bhanduk, one in Vikhroli, and the latest one in Santa Cruz. By God's grace, we'll be soon starting our other center in Maldives, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Yes, miracles do happen, which is our tagline. We create little miracles every day. Thank you Femina, Thank you, Economic Times, for giving me this award of Women with Valor, Women with Strength and Power, and Women Leaders of 2022. Thank you very much.
Let's give it up for Ananya Birla, the founder of Swatantra Microfin. Many, many, many congratulations to you.
A big thank you to Economic Times and Femina for this award. It means so much to me. I would like to thank my family, my best friends, and of course my team. This is for my team. Especially at Swatantra, you guys have made me the leader that I am today. Y'all teach me every single day. A big thank you for your support, your loyalty, for your love, and we have a long way to go, but awards like this really motivate us, all of us, to want to continue to conquer new peaks. So a big thank you once again. It's a pleasure.
There's so much of optimism, positivity, and so much of power around that we must come together and clap with a lot of power in our hands. Our next women leader, I want all of you to give it up for Anshita Asnani, the founder and managing partner, UMC Global. Congratulations to you, Anshita.
I'm Anshita Asnani, founder, managing partner, UMC Global, a firm that helps governments design cities of the future. I'm humbled and honored to be considered one of the promising women leaders of India 2022. I would like to thank Economic Times for this initiative and for encouraging us. Born in a pre-liberalization era where it was commonplace to compare India to developed nations, I soon realized that intellectual drawing room discussions were not an answer to the changes we sought. Over the time, I also realized what I was really passionate about was dignity for all. And I realized I needed to get into a business that was aligned to national interest, and thus was born UMC Global. At UMC Global, we strongly believe in creating smart, resilient, and sustainable cities, with a special focus on circular economy, WASH, SDG 6. We work across states in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and in countries of Africa. We work on projects not only of state and central government, but of multilateral agencies like World Bank, UN Habitat, GIZ, UNICEF, etc. I understand that this award is not just a privilege, but a responsibility. And I hope to continue to contribute and excel and live up to the expectations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words. You truly are a force to reckon with. Let the inspiration continue, ladies and gentlemen, as we also introduce you to our next women leader. Everybody, please put your hands like really high up in the air and clap to welcome and applaud Aparna Purohit, the head of India Originals, Amazon Prime Video.
Hello, everyone. I would like to begin by congratulating and thanking the Economic Times and Femina for institutionalizing this initiative. It's great to be in the company of all these wonderful women who not only blazed new trail, but have inspired all of us to continuously push the envelope. I believe we need more forums to recognize the contribution of women, and platforms like these are a great starting point. The teens have brought to the forefront the pivotal role women have been playing in the Indian economy, spearheading transformations in diverse areas like entertainment, science and technology, space and aeronautics, and much more. I'm honored to be recognized as one of the leaders in this incredibly inspiring and diverse set of women who've not only raised the bar in their respective fields, but also encouraged others to follow their dreams. In my role as head of Originals Amazon Prime Video India, I'm personally and deeply vested in driving the mandate of diversity, equity, and inclusion across the industry through the powerful medium of stories. By bringing more women-oriented narratives and providing wider employment and creative opportunities, To women both in front of and behind the camera, it has been a continuous endeavor for my team and I to contribute towards creating a work culture and environment that celebrates diversity, not only in gender, but also diverse viewpoints and life experiences within the creative industry. Thank you once again, ET and Femina, for bestowing this honor, and my heartfelt congratulations to my fellow women leaders as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some good noise as we welcome and applaud and say kudos to Ashima Goyal, the member from RBI Monetary Policy Committee. Many congratulations.
I'm Ashima Goyal, and I would like to thank ET and Femina for selecting me in this Promising Leaders initiative of theirs. I have had a very varied career. In some senses, I've been in one institute in Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research, where I've taught, done research, participated in policy, but it's allowed me to do all these things. And a big motivator was India's development and the liberalization, the opportunities. I think it created a lot of opportunities for women, for young people, for the country as a whole. But there were many sort of, puzzles and problems to be solved. And I think we are progressing well, and it's been wonderful to contribute to this. It's been a very rich learning experience. So I would tell all women, you must do things where you learn, where you grow, where your interests grow, and your abilities also grow. Thank you.
We are all set to get rolling by announcing our next women leader. A leader who is leading by examples. Let's give it up for Chandni Kapadia, the Executive Director, GLS University. Hearty congratulations.
Hello everyone, this is Chandni Kapadia, Executive Director, GLS University. I'm truly honored to receive this award from the Economic Times and Femina, and thank them for recognizing my contribution as a woman leader to the field of business and education. It would not have been possible for me to be at this juncture without courage, perseverance, and making my voice heard, which is what we at GLS University believe and do, thus making our students ready to take over the tough world. So my dear young viewers of today, get up and get going, because there is no boundary to your dreams, and don't let anyone stop you from living your life on your own terms. Thank you.
The president of Cisco India and SAG. Let's give it up for Daisy Chittalapalli. Congratulations. Let's clap loudly, of course. You also heard her through the discussions. This is for the CEO and joint MD of Wellspun India. You guessed this one right for sure. Dipali Goenka, hearty congratulations to you. Here's to celebrating your lovely win.
Thank you, Economic Times and Femina. I'm honored with this recognition. I believe women are born multitaskers, and we bring high degree of emotional intelligence to the business, which is the need of the hour. My journey so far has been challenging and full of surprises, but also extremely rewarding. A leader is good as the team. I owe this to my Wellspun family. Thank you.
Our next women leader, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up, like really high up in the air, as we say, for Dolly Kumar, the founder and director from Cosmic Nutra Cause Solutions. Congratulations.
Thank you for bestowing me with such an honor and this special award by Economic Times and Femina for recognizing me as one of the promising women's leader of India 2022. I'm grateful to my dream team. Some of them have been with us since the very beginning, as well as those who have more recently decided to join us to make our shared dream a reality. Gaia is one of the first health and wellness brand in India, and even today remains the only brand that has a complete range of health food products as well as nutritional supplements. Skinella, from the House of Cosmic Nutracos, is a skincare brand launched after 3 years of market surveys, extensive research and development. We offer skincare products for the young target audience, and all our products are made with the power of superfoods and contains no harsh chemicals. We are proud to say that we have such an extensive distribution channel, and our strength lies in the formulation of our products. This is a great encouragement and just the beginning of greater things.
But leaders, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about leaders, they are never, ever concerned with being famous. All that they're concerned is about setting the benchmarks, leading by examples for others to sort of tread on and get inspired and create their own little ways of doing wonderful things. We are so proud to announce our next women leader. Hearty congratulations to you, Ghazal Alak, the co-founder and Chief Innovations Officer, Honasa Consumer.
Hi everybody, I'm Ghazal Alak, co-founder and Chief Innovation Officer at Mama Earth. Thank you so much, Economic Times and Femina, for giving me this prestigious award as a promising women leader. It gives me immense pleasure, and I strongly believe that women are the foundation of a sustainable future, and this award reaffirms that. Thank you so much once again.
Please allow us to applaud, appreciate, and acknowledge our next women leader. Ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely reserved for the CEO of Wycom 18. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome and congratulate Jyoti Deshpande. Hearty congratulations.
Hi, this is Jyoti Deshpande. I'm the CEO of Wycom 18. First of all, please allow me to thank Economic Times and Femina for this recognition. It really means a lot. Promising women leaders of India. It's a very loaded phrase because what it signals is that the journey has begun from promising women leaders to promising leaders of India. A little bit about Wycom 18 and why this is so special for me. This has been the best ever year of Wycom 18 with record financial results. IPL has found a new home in Wycom 18. And with our synergies with Jio, we are confident that we'll bring IPL and cricket and much, much more to every Indian home. It's our dream to digitally connect India and every Indian, and IPL will be a part of this dream. Once again, thank you very much for this recognition. It reminds women like us how much there is to do for other women in India. Thank you again.
All of us come together like literally cohesively and applaud and give a nice shout out to Dr. Nagma Abbasi, the founder and CEO from NextGen Life Sciences. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Nagma Abbasi, founder and CEO of NextGen Life Sciences Private Limited. It's a moment of great pride and honor for me. I'm so thankful to the Economic Times and Femina India for recognizing me as one of the promising women leader of India 2022. I am so thankful to my team members and all my clients. At NextGen, we offer innovative solutions to Indian scientists in life sciences, healthcare and biotechnology industry. We are serving science and trying to understand the needs and pains of Indian scientists and offers the customized solutions to them. We are trying to bring in the innovative technologies to researchers in India and helping them to make this world better, healthier and cleaner. Thank you so much once again for this recognition.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this time, at this very juncture, I must say this, that there's certain kind of people who want to make it happen. There's certain kind of people who just keep wishing to make it happen, but there's certain people who really make it happen. And this time is reserved to applaud all those make it happeners, all you very empowered women leaders. So here's the thing, our next women leader is all set to take the stage. Let's give it up for Neera Sharma, the Chief Executive Officer from Systema Smart Technologies. Hearty congratulations to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Neera Sharma, CEO Systema Smart Technologies Limited based out of Gurgaon. Today I am feeling truly honored and privileged to be recognized as Most Promising Woman Leader 2022. I would like to pay my gratitude to a very esteemed jury panel and much thanks to Economic Times and Femina for these honors. I have been working with Systema for last 14 years now and always feel lucky to work in the organization where there was a level playing field, especially in my current organization. For me, it's the best place to work where each employee got a chance to prove its worth, ample opportunity to grow, learn, unlearn, and relearn. I am really thankful to Systema for giving me ample opportunity to grow and making me more and more accountable with each passing year. This facilitation means a lot to me. Typically, I think mostly women feel that they need to know everything before taking on a challenge. But sometimes you have to dream far bigger than what you can plan for and be prepared to upgrade your skills along the way. This is what I have been doing all these years. I would like to dedicate this award to each woman who is fighting her own battle and not ready to settle for less. Cheers to all of them, and thank you so much. Thank you very much, Economic Times.
But this time, all the acknowledgements, applauses, and all the excitement, I must say, give it up for Priya Nazaret, the Director, Monture India Safety Equipments. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, I'm Priya Nazareth from Monture India, a fire and security company. Thank Economic Times for bringing us all together to celebrate the constellation of women leaders from across India in this felicitation ceremony. Women have demonstrated through their life and work, leadership and women empowerment that women make a difference, not a small one, but a big and critical one. They have become incredible role models for their country. I am deeply honored for the recognition of my work. The journey since we started 19 years ago until now has been an incredible one, wherein we started from just one city operation and have grown to a distribution network all India, introducing innovative products of fire and security for the Indian market, installing our products in the landmark projects of India, and collaborating with the best names in the industry. I firmly believe that people make a company, and I thank the brilliant team which works with me day on day to make this magic happen. I thank you all once again.
Our next women leader who's all set to take up the grand stage, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up, all the kudos reserved this time. Let's give it up for Radhika Gupta, the MD and CEO from Edelweiss AMC. Let's celebrate the victory of our next women leader. Give it up for Ritu Jain, the Managing Director, EOS Capital Advisors. Hearty congratulations to you, Ritu.
I'm Ritu Jain, Managing Director, EOS Capital, and Shreem Finser. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Economic Times and Femina for recognizing me as one of the Promising Women Leader 2022. It feels great on getting recognized for the relentless pursuit of excellence. After completing my MBA from ISB Hyderabad, I was doing extremely well in the corporate sector with meaningful jobs with well-known multinationals like Morgan Stanley, Barclays, American Express, among others. But my childhood dream of creating something of my own was haunting me continuously. So one day I decided to quit my well-paying job and start my boutique iBank. As they say, every big journey starts with one step. Right from the beginning, I had decided that EOS would focus only on few sectors, and it should be known as an important, knowledgeable player in these sectors. This decision paid off very well. We developed collaborative relationship with firms, lenders, investors, and soon went up the learning curve to become a prominent name in financial advisory in infra and energy space. I firmly live by the words of Oprah. The key to realizing a dream is to focus not on success, but significance. And then even the small steps and little victories along your path will take on greater meaning. Thank you.
And that brings us to celebrating our next women leader, ladies and gentlemen. And women leaders who are actually dreamers, and not just dreamers, I must say, they are the ones who are the doers as well. Let's give it up to welcome and congratulate Dr. Saloni Satish Wag, the Director, Supriya Life Sciences. Congratulations to you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Saloni Wag, Director at Supriya Life Science Limited. I'm extremely honored to be recognized as one of the promising women leaders of 2022 by Economic Times and by Femina. Supriya Life Science Limited is one of the leading API manufacturers from India. The company has a legacy of 34 years serving quality products in the healthcare sector. We are currently exporting to more than 86 countries across the globe. We are one of the largest producers of antihistamine and anti-asthmatic drugs from India. This award by Femina and by Economic Times truly represents the core value of Supriya Life Science Limited as a company, which is to cater quality products to the customers while maintaining a sustainable and profitable growth. Once again, I thank Economic Times for this honor. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Shanti Ekambaram, the Group President, Consumer Banking and member of Group Management Council from Kotak Mahindra Bank. Big congratulations to you, Shanti.
Hi, I wish to thank ET and Femina for conferring me with the Promising Women Leader of the Year award. Being a woman and a professional and a leader has been very eventful, full of learnings, opportunities and challenges. Being a professional, I've had my fair share of successes and failures, which has made me a stronger professional as well as a better human being. I'm humbled by this felicitation. I wish to congratulate my co-awardees and thank you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say that believe in yourself and you are already halfway there. Our next women leader exemplifies what I just said and more. Please give it up for Shruti Kanodia, the managing partner from Segas Legal. Congratulations to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Kanodia, managing partner of Segas Legal. It is indeed a great honor and a privilege to be considered as one of the promising women leaders of India. And I thank Femina and Economic Times for this. When I started Segas Legal in 2020 with 3 people, I never thought that today we would have grown so phenomenally. It is a matter of great pride for us that even at the senior levels, we have more women than men, and this is a conscious effort to nurture the future women leaders. We take our mentorship program very seriously, and we want the overall growth of the individual and not just professional development. It's a kudos to our team that given their hard work and professional excellence, we've been recognized by international publications for several practice areas despite a short span of existence. Being a woman in law is not an easy task. You have long working hours, you have gender biased attitudes, and you have to navigate all of it. We recognize this, and at Segas, we not only provide opportunities to women and men, but we make sure that they have the necessary support, encouragement and the confidence to actually optimize those opportunities. It is my great hope that one day there will be sufficient support systems and examples for women to realize that being a wife or a daughter or a mother does not mean that they have to give up on their professional aspirations. Thank you so much.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all set to ceremonize the achievements of our next women leader. Everybody, please give it up to welcome and congratulate Dr. Sujata Malik, the CEO and MD from Sunburst healthcare. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Sujata Malik. I am the CEO and Managing Director of Sunburst Healthcare. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers of the event, Economic Times and Femina India, for recognizing me as one of the promising women leaders of 2022. I dedicate this award to our team members for their hard work and also to our patrons who repose their trust in us. At an age when most people start planning their retirement, I founded Sunburst Healthcare. The company aims to improve the access and affordability of healthcare to a vast majority of patients. We have developed our own bespoke technology to bring down about digital transformation in the manner that healthcare is accessed and delivered across the country. During the pandemic, we offered our remote monitoring COVID care services to hundreds of patients across the country. As hospital-based care is becoming more and more expensive, we feel that home healthcare is a viable option to deliver accessible and affordable healthcare to a vast majority of patients. Today, we are a self-sustaining company and we are profitable, and we are working towards our first round of funding so that we can expand to different parts of the country. We aim to make ordering of healthcare services at home as easy as calling a cab or ordering food or groceries.
I want all of you to rev up definitely when we clap and put that excitement meter on as we applaud for Suparna Mitra, the Chief Executive Officer, Watches and Wearables Division, Titan Company.
Hi everyone, my name is Suparna Mitra and I'm the CEO of the Watches and Wearables Division of Titan Company Limited. ET and Femina together brought this Most Promising Women Leader Award, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. I thank the organizers for encouraging women talent in the corporate sector, and I have spent many years in Titan to reach this position through the support and encouragement of the organization. I think now it's our turn to similarly encourage, support and motivate young women to achieve the heights that they truly and richly deserve. Thank you all for this honor. Bye.
Let's give it up for Supriya Rathi, the promoter and whole-time director from Anand Rathi Insurance Brokers. Hearty congratulations to you.
Hi, I am Supriya Rathi. I am promoter and whole-time director of Anand Rathi Insurance Brokers, which is a part of the Anand Rathi Group. Thank you very much to both Femina and ET for having conferred one of the most promising women leaders award for 2022 to me. I'd like to dedicate this award to my entire team at Anand Rathi Insurance Brokers, who continues to deliver excellence in providing insurance solutions to our clients, both corporate as well as retail. At Anand Rathi Insurance, we specialize in providing customized, need-based solutions for insurance needs of clients and to manage risk of clients. We have a dominance in providing solutions for the banking sector, and we are continuing to now successfully recreate that ecosystem and that service proposition for other sectors, including infrastructure, including renewables, new age businesses, IT, cement, power, and many others. We have also started our recent foray into the point of sale terminals, and we currently have more than 4,000 POS who are deployed on our platform. At Anand Rathi Insurance, we pride ourselves with excellence in design, delivery, as well as delight to our customers. Our customers are the focus of everything that we do, and also want to dedicate this award to our customers who continue to repose their faith in us. Thank you so much, ET and Femina.
Our next women leader, this goes to Trupti Agarwal, the chairperson, Vishwakarma Group of Schools.
Hello, I'm Trupti Agarwal, chairperson, Vishwakarma Group of Schools, director, Wisdom World Schools. I would like to thank the Economic Times and Femina for recognizing me as one of the promising women leaders of India 2022. We, under Vishwakarma Group of Schools, cater education to more than 10,000 students across the economic strata. Our focus is on the holistic development of children and world-class practices. We have been certified by QSI Gauge and given the platinum rating. Also, Indian Green Building Council has given us the platinum rating. We are the first ones to go for ISO certification in education. Awards like these motivate me and my team to do better work and raise the bar of education in India. Thank you.
Our next women leader, everybody put your hands up in the air. Well, everybody is free to applaud, cheer. Of course, we are hoping to see you sooner than soon, but right now, when the digital makes all of us inclusive, let's give it up for Upasana Taku, the co-founder of MobiQuick.
This is Upasana Taku, co-founder and CEO of MobiQuick, your everyday life payments and buy now, pay later app. I'm so happy to be here today, and I would like to thank ET and Femina for including me in the ET Femina Promising Women Leaders of 2022. This journey of mine and the milestone that we have reached here at MobiQuick, could not have been possible without the 500 plus employees of MobiQuick, the 125 million users that use MobiQuick app, and the 3.5 million merchants who accept payments via MobiQuick. So I would like to thank our users, our merchants, our partner banks, as well as all of our employees in making MobiQuick a household brand that it is today, and helping me get to where I am as a woman leader in India today. Thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, our next women leader, let's give it up for Vandana M. Jagwani, the creative director, Mahesh Notandas, and creator at Vandals. Hearty and mighty congratulations.
Hi, this is Vandana Jagwani, creative director of Mahesh Notandas, that is our company of natural diamond jewelry, and founder of Vandals, the first Indian designer lab-grown diamond jewelry in India. So it's obviously a challenge, but thank you so much to Economic Times for appreciating and felicitating me. With being the first mover advantage, I got first mover challenges, but we're really glad where we are today. Of course, there was flack, but the only constant in this world is change. So we had to adapt to times. And I think the consumer today has so much more education and is so much more relevant that if we don't keep up. So as handling both brands, what we kind of try to do is keep our heritage and legacy relevant, but also keep our brand flying high attached to our legacy. So yes, thank you so much.
Let's congratulate Veena Kohli, the CEO of Vanguard Diagnostics and MD at Diagon Vanguard Diagnostics. Hearty congratulations.
Hello everyone, my name is Veena Kohli. I'm the founder and CEO of Vanguard Diagnostics. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Economic Times for felicitating women leaders across the country and shining a much needed light on their stellar achievements. We at Vanguard Diagnostics have had an extremely successful couple of years, recording a year-on-year growth of 130% while catering to the needs of the nation during the times of the pandemic. In 2021, we formed a joint venture with the leading Hungarian diagnostics manufacturer, Diagon. This joint venture promises to be a game changer, bringing cutting-edge diagnostics technology to the Indian market. During the COVID-19 pandemic, in the midst of an increased demand for testing kits, we supplied 6.5 million units, meeting about 4% of the national requirement at less than half the price of the imported product. And in the last 6 years, our products have been used extensively as substitutes to imported products, thereby leading to a forex saving of 14 million US dollars and giving an impetus to Make in India. Thank you all very much.
Let us continue and applaud and say kudos to all the endeavor that our next women leader has shown, has delivered in her work. Let's give it up for Vibha Padalkar, the MD and CEO from HDFC Life. What a magnificent victory there, and hearty congratulations to you, Vibha.
Hi, this is Vibha Padalkar, MD and CEO of HDFC Life Insurance. I would like to thank Economic Times and Femina for recognizing me as one of the promising women leaders of India 2022. At HDFC Life, it is our constant endeavor to provide innovative products and superior services to customers, right from onboarding to the claim settlement stage. We continue to deliver all-round performance and be ranked amongst the top 3 life insurers in our country. We have at least doubled every key metric over the past 4 years, be it on new business, renewal premium, assets under management, embedded value, and value of new business. And during this period, our persistency as well as our claim settlement ratio has significantly improved. I would like to congratulate the women leaders who have been honored by this platform, and my best wishes to all.
With that, announcing our next women leader who has emerged victorious. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, she is truly a trendsetter. When I talked about, and when I do say that leaders are all about setting those benchmarks, right? She is the one who has defied norms, who has opened and given us a whole world of new opportunities. I am talking about the CEO and co-founder of Sugar Cosmetics. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up loud for Vinita Singh. Hearty congratulations.
Hi, my name is Vinita. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sugar Cosmetics. Very grateful to the Economic Times Group and Femina for felicitating me with the ET Femina Most Promising Women Leaders 2022 award. While Sugar has come a long way over the last 7 years with from 0 to 500 plus SKUs available in 35,000 plus retail outlets, and of course an annual sales run rate of 500 crores. The thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that we employ more than 2,500 women. 99% of our customers are actually women, and of course we have a lot of women in our senior leadership here. And I feel that honors and awards like these really matter because as far as the depreciating number of women in workforce is concerned for India, I think role models and representation really matters. So this is quite an honor. Thank you so much.
With our restless energies, because we hustle day in and day out, it is the time that we are all set to once again celebrate our next women leader. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen. I want all of you to kick it up, that enthusiasm a notch higher for sure this time, as we applaud and say congratulations to Vishakha RM, the MD and CEO, India First Life Insurance Company.
I want to thank ET Femina, Promising Women Leaders of India 2022, for recognizing me as one of the promising women leaders of India. As I accept this award, I am reminded of the adage, a leader is only as good as her team. And so as I stand tall in front of you, I want to thank every single employee, customer, partner, distributor, and every associate of India First Life Insurance Company. I received this award on behalf of all of them. We have been featured in Great Places to Work for 4 years in the short span that we have been here. I believe this award is a validation of all our undiluted focus on strategy, technology, and people. Thank you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, announcing our next woman leader. Please give it up for Manju Dhawan, co-founder, Ecom Express Limited.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure that we make this conversational. Use our official hashtag, that is hashtag ET Women Leaders, and share your perspectives, all the insights that you learned, and also congratulate and share the vibe using our official hashtag across social media. And here's saying a big, and a huge congratulations to all the formidable women who have been commended right just now. And with that, we come to the end of a very inspiring, a very lovable, and in fact, a very exciting day as well, ladies and gentlemen. It was indeed a pleasure being a part of this very interesting initiative, I must say, and hosting all of you, the cheerleaders, I must say, my dearest audience members at the Economic Times and Femina presents the Promising Women Leaders 2022 Coffee Table Book release, and all the honors that was just being celebrated in your presence. Have a happy heart set, mindset, and a soul set. Take care and stay safe.